Hello everyone, we're here at Film Tools instead of our Hollywood location because the GoPro 4 has just released. We're here with Nick, and he's going to help us go through the new options in the camera, the new features, and which one works best for you. So Nick, let's get into it. What are the new GoPros?
Well, GoPro came out with 3 brand new GoPros just about a week ago. They came out with the Hero 4 Silver, and the Hero 4 Black. And we're not really going to talk about the Hero because it's really not designed for anyone but kids who want to just kind of get into action cameras. It's really low end. It's got about 3 features, and that's it.
Okay.
So we really don't feel as if that's going to be what any of our viewers, our Film Tools customers, anyone's really going to use in their productions.
Anyone doing production stuff and like making videos.
So what they did though was they came out with the Hero 4 Silver and the Hero 4 Black. And what they did was every time they come out with a new GoPro, they kind of take the former best GoPro and they knock it down a peg and they come out with something better. So the Hero 4 Silver is really just a Hero 3 Plus Black.
So the recent one out there right now. Okay,
yes.
cool.
So the newest Silver is the old Black. But what they did was they integrated a touch LCD screen on the back of it. So it's the same form factor,
Okay.
but it actually adds a LCD screen. So now you can see what you're doing without having to buy that extra attachment. It's really quite nice, and they kept it all the same form factor, which meant you don't have to buy new cases, you don't have to have a new back on it. Everything's all the same with a brand new touchscreen.
That's really impressive. What if you wanted to add extra battery? Can you not do that because the screen's there?
Well,
or?
you can. You just lose the screen functionality, which is actually
Okay.
really nice because it used to be you had to either switch the screen off and put the battery on, or just have the battery on. You couldn't stack these. Now you can actually stack a battery on the back of it, which is really quite cool.
So that would be great because let's say you were setting up your shot and then you don't have to worry about taking it off and putting the battery. You just put the battery right over it, and it's like you're just ready to go at that point.
Exactly.
So that's cool. So does the screen work the same way as the normal screens, or is there any new features on it?
There is a new feature. There's one really cool new feature, which is swipe.
Wow.
Just like your cell phone, you can now, instead of having to tap through every single menu option, now you can actually swipe through them, which is really quite cool because before, if you have bigger fingers, if you had fingernails that were too long, sometimes you just wouldn't be able to get the menu setting right every time.
And you'd have to like hit in there and like
just madly just doing something. To get it. And now it's really cool because now you can just swipe up and down. I tried it out yesterday. It is really cool.
That's awesome. So even in the water backing, you can kind of swipe easily through it, or is that still kind of more like?
It's not waterproof. It's water resistant, so you can't just go, underwater with the thing. But if you're in the snow, if you're in the mud or something, and you just don't want to get everything dirty, they do have a backing that's got a slight film coating on the back that seals it up enough that you can still use that swipe and touch feature.
So how much is the Silver 4 going for?
It's going to be $399, just like the original Black, which was $399. They're always trying to keep that price point so they're accessible to everybody.
Cool. And then so basically it has the same slow motion.
Yeah, it's the 4K at 15 and 12.5 frames per second. It's got the 1080. It's got the 720 slow-mo at 120. It's got everything that you had before, just with a new LCD screen.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we really feel as if you like the performance of your 3 Plus, the Blacks, if you like all the features that you had and you don't need all the brand new features that we're about to talk about, this may just be the camera for you, only because it's got that brand new LCD screen already as a part of the camera.
Well, then let's jump into the more exciting ones, the new.
So the big buzz is the Hero 4 Black. Everything that they had the 3 Plus Black, and they made it better. 4K at 30 frames per second and 24 frames per second.
Wow.
You are now dealing with a $499, so it's a little more expensive, $500 4K camera ready for production.
That's insane. I mean, the extra $100 to get 4K at 30 and 24, I mean, it becomes like not even a C camera anymore. It could be used as a B camera on some like really small shoots at that point.
It could be used as a B camera at that point.
Wow.
It's all to your creative taste and what your production needs. The 4K in the palm of your hand, without the need of an external recorder, without the need of all these extras, is pretty cool.
Did they upgrade anything else with the 2K or slow motion wise?
Yeah,
or?
So what they really did was they put a brand new processor into the camera. It's 2 times as powerful as the last one.
Oh, wow.
For the geeks out there, it's the A9 processor. It's had a little bit of buzz in the tech world. But, I mean, for anyone who doesn't really care about that stuff, just think you now have twice as powerful GoPro as before. Not only are you getting your improved frame rates, you've got the 4K at 30 and 24 frames.
Wow.
You've got full 1080 HD video at 120 frames per second. I mean, as a C throwaway camera, or even a B camera, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you can make anything look cool at that point. You
Yeah.
know, just hanging out with your friends, throwing stuff, I don't know, anywhere. Food fights, maybe. Who knows?
Exactly. They also improve the audio. They have a better mic support in the camera. So
Okay.
what they really did was, it's looking like they're supporting a wider range of mics in the Hero 4 Black. Most mics, especially when you get in the higher end, they take more power. And so I'm guessing, and we haven't been able to test this yet, but I'm guessing that means they're adding some sort of phantom power capabilities on the camera.
That's insane.
So not having to worry about externally powering your mic, and now you can use lavs and shotguns and everything else, and you really can start using this as your production camera for small budgets, of course. But I mean, as a secondary camera, running your audio through, that's pretty cool.
No, that is great. And I feel like even for people maybe not in the video world, like people in audio and musicians, they can use that now for like, viral videos and stuff like that. So
one of the biggest pushes GoPro's got out right now is their music side. They've got a ton of new mounts that are available for musicians, and one of the cool things is they're really trying to get musicians involved in GoPro. It's not just trying to kill yourself and get a cool shot. Now you're actually, showing the world what your skills are when you're a musician or a filmmaker and things like that. It's got a pretty unique noise canceling ability. So now with wind and other things, so you've strapped it to your car or your drum set, it's going to actually be able to knock out some of those ambient noises.
So just not that constant like that's always with everything, or the
it's going to be taken out. You're going to have a lot better audio just naturally from the camera. Yeah.
GoPro, stepping it up.
So what we're looking at again is, if you're a production-minded person and you have the 3 Plus Black, you love it, but you really wanted that 4K, you really want that 1080 at 120 frames per second, this is really the camera for you. It's kind of a no-brainer. It doesn't have the screen like the Silver, which is kind of funky. GoPro really kind of segmented their models this time instead of just kind of adding more features. But if you're really looking to use this as a production camera, the Black is really where you want to look at. It's almost a no-brainer, especially if you need that 4K.
Cool. And then you said earlier it is the same form factor, so all your old housing and everything
works the same. The whole thing looks identical to the 3s, except it has a 4 now, and they didn't even change the colors anymore. It used to be that they changed the color of the 3 to whether it was silver or black. Everything's the same now. It looks just like it. The only way you're going to know if it's a silver or black, you got to turn it around to see the screen.
So we've been talking about the different frame rates that the new GoPro offers. Is there any other key new features you think that they are worth mentioning?
Yeah, of course. No, there's about 4 new features that GoPro put into these 2 new cameras. Now, they're not going to be available for the old models. It's not like a software update with like iPhones or something that allows you to get these new features. But these new features are really kind of set these cameras apart from the old models. So there's about 4 new features that GoPro really comes out with that's going to set these cameras apart from the older models. It's not like a software update with the iPhone or another camera that you can kind of upgrade your old models to these new features.
They're specific to the new ones.
They are specific.
Okay.
So it really shows why you should be getting these new cameras. So the first one is night photo and night lapse. The really cool feature is you can now manually control your exposure settings to a certain degree. GoPro still doesn't give you full manual exposure control. So you really can't say, I want, an eighth of a stop or something,
and slow the shutter.
Specific. But what they're allowing you to do is now do timed exposure control for time lapse and photos.
And that's crazy. So it kind of works like automatic. You put on the setting and it kind of just does it for you, and then you let it go.
Yep. And they've always had the ability to do time lapse in the camera. So adding this long exposure tool really kind of just helps your time lapse come along.
With that, you could probably do like light painting and light graffiti to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, you really could, as long as, it's going to take some fiddling around with it, but once you got this down, up to 30 seconds of a long exposure, you can do some pretty cool stuff with it.
That's amazing. I mean, that feature alone, because that's why a lot of people have DSLRs, I feel like. It's just to play with that function. So
they throw an intervalometer in their bag with their DSLR, and they take it out hiking or wherever else, and they go get their shot, and now you can take a GoPro. It's pretty cool. And no intervalometer needed. It's all built in.
Just have a pocket, a little tripod, and then you can do the same. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. The second feature, and actually it's going to go straight into this, is the ProTune. ProTune has been a really powerful tool for video on the GoPro for a couple generations now. And The only kind of gripe was you really couldn't use it for the photos. GoPro still has this magnificent 12 megapixel camera built into this video camera that you could take awesome stills, but you really couldn't edit within GoPro's proprietary software. You could do a little bit, and you're kind of stuck with a JPEG. Now with ProTune, it's really giving you that log, that awesome range that your video has now, and you can really do some really cool editing, exposure, ISO limit, white balance, sharpness, you name it. You've got this built into the camera.
Wow.
Into the software now, so you really can take your photos and your video, drop it into the ProTune, the GoPro Studio, and just work on it.
So it kind of works more like a raw image now than a baked image.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and these files drop straight into Photoshop and Premiere seamlessly. I haven't tried it with Avid yet, but with Premiere, they just drop in with all their settings that you just did with GoPro Studio. They drop in the timeline with no issues. So it's really powerful software, really powerful color for free. It's just an added feature.
Yeah, and that's impressive. That's amazing. So then you can also just become like, you know, you could say you're a good photographer. Just like leave it going and then take those photos. And wow.
And speaking of dropping into edit room, one of the cool new features is highlight tagging with the GoPro. They changed the way the user interface works on the cameras. They changed some of the buttons, so you're not going to see your Wi-Fi button on the side like you used to. What you are going to see is a settings button. One of the cool things with that settings button is now a highlight tagger. So anyone in the film industry knows that when you're in an edit and you're dicing stuff up and not ready to make that cut yet, you can mark it in your timeline.
Yeah.
Well, the GoPro now has a button. So when you're riding your bike, when you're surfing, when you're shooting a film and you don't want to cut, but you want to remember where it's at, boop, you hit the button and it sends a marker up. So when you're in GoPro Studio, now you've got these markers on your timeline. So you don't have to start filtering through all your footage that you've been shooting for an hour. You can actually find these exact points that you remember where they happened.
That's amazing. So you pull it in the GoPro Cine Studio, and then basically instead of going through the whole clip, it will just be the markers that you hit, and you can jump right to them.
Jump right to them. Now, a lot of that work's taken out. All the tedious work of trying to find where your favorite shot was is no longer necessary. You just hit the button and you're good. And the last feature is quick capture. One of the tough things about GoPro, and it still happens with this camera, especially with the new features and making it more powerful, is battery life doesn't always fit, you know, your lifestyle, what you're doing with the camera. It kind of sucks.
Because a lot of the stuff people have to just leave on to catch what they're doing.
You gotta catch what you're doing. And one way that they figured out how to fix that was called quick capture. Quick capture is kind of like a sleep mode for your GoPro. It turns the camera off, and when you hit the button, it turns the camera on and starts recording right away.
Wow.
So now you're saving that little bit of battery life that you would have been using while you're just riding around looking, or you're setting up your shots and stuff, and now you're walking away from your set. You don't want to have to turn all your cameras on and then hit the button. Now you just hit the button and you're shooting again.
Oh, cool.
So it's really great for action sports people and anyone who has a camera on at all times. Maybe not be as film-centric as other features, but it's a really nice thing to think about, that now all you have to do is hit the button and you're just recording again. And so GoPro, I think, has done enough stuff to cover the change side for the good. So
definitely.
There are some changes that people should know about in the accessories. They changed the battery. It's going to make a lot of our customers, a lot of our users mad, because every time they seem to change the form factor of the camera, they change the battery. And they didn't change the form factor, but it
you'll need new
you know,
batteries.
with such a powerful camera, we wonder if it has something to do with heat sink, would have something to do with power distribution. We're not sure. So you are going to see a different battery. They have a different battery door. Apparently a lot of customers and users were upset about the fact that they kept losing doors, so they had to buy the extra doors pack just to give you a replacement door. It's kind of unfortunate. And so now they've got a door that doesn't remove from the camera, it just swings open.
I feel like that's going to get broken.
Could get broken. So we'll see if people get tired of snapping the doors off or just losing the doors. We'll find out, but that is a change that people should know about. It's easier to open the battery door, which is nice, because those things are a pain in the butt to open, the old ones. So this one was actually really easy.
Cool.
So that's really nice.
Yeah, because the other ones, when you had to like do this and kind of hit it to like pop it out on the last ones.
Yeah. So having the ability to just hit a button now and it just swings the door open is quite nice. Everything that GoPro makes, we're gonna have available at Film Tools. So any type of small, minute accessory or big mounts, you're gonna be able to get them here at Film Tools. Go check them out online at filmtools.com, but also just read up about them. Come inside, check them out. Normally we have a lot of stuff to just try out, so you can actually get your hands on something and really see it for yourself.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Nick.
Of course.
You went over everything. I think explained it well to me and to everyone who's watching. So come on down to Film Tools, get your GoPro. I know I'm going to pick one up. It's really exciting stuff, and we'll see you on the next episode when you're going to tell us about the post side of
The
things.
post side and hopefully some mounts. So
Cool.
we'll have
Sounds
we'll have
great.
some fun, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, and we'll see you at Film Tools.